Monday, 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 and it's so grey in Berlin. I've just come back from my school run. Welcome to the Yarnchix podcast 2022 knit chicken. I just thought I'll record like a one-off, like half an hour, just show you quickly all the things I finished last year as a little bonus content on this YouTube to say thank you for following along for Vlogmas. And this is Charlie. Charlie thinks she owns the table. They do not own the table. Yeah. So let's begin. I made a list. I don't know where I've put it. I might have to get up midway and... Hello, Charlie. I'm hoping to just be like a half an hour chatter free, because usually I get carried away a little bit, so my podcasts end up being around the 1 hour mark. Yeah, I've got my list of all the things I finished last year, and I'm very excited that I get to show you this today. Charlie again. They're very active in the mornings because obviously usually we're not here, so then the table does belong to them. My name is Mimi. I come to you from Berlin Wedding. That is also why my Instagram handle is Liebwed, which is short for Liebeswedding. My apologies. Charlie keeps flashing her. I do not want to edit 1,000 times. My tigress! This is my tigress, my cheeky tigress, Charlie. They're not even 1 year old yet. We got the kittens in August, and yeah, they've been a joy. They're cheeky. And are not allowed on our table when we're here. I don't know what's going on, Charlie. Charlie wants attention. Charlie is the bigger of the two. They're two sisters. And yeah, they're like furrier, fluffier, and they've got all these lucky red dots dotted throughout their fur. So an interesting cat for sure. Okay, let's begin at the beginning. I have gone back into my podcasts and basically made the list according to when I finished these items. So it's kind of accurate. I'm going to take you through them in that order because I think that's kind of fun to show you what I've done and how it came about. Okay, long introduction. Here we go. In 2022, in January, I finished the Soiree sweater. The Soiree sweater has this really cool cabled and textured design feature on sleeve and shoulder. Soiree is a design by Emily Foden, and I used the book Knits About Winter to knit the pattern from, where there is a DK version and fingering weight and mohair held double version in the book, so you can follow both those instructions. Originally, Soiree was published in the 2017 Pom Pom birthday like edition. It was like one of the magazines, and I also have the magazine. But as I used like an Aran weight held with mohair, I completely changed gauge. Hence, I had put it to the side because it was a bit of a math trickster for me. I thought I was being clever by like knitting according to the smallest size with this completely different gauge, but I also had to edit out some stitches at some point. And I did that obviously previously because it is a boxy knitting, so you don't shape it anywhere where you can kind of lose some stitches along the way. It's bottom up, and then you knit the front and back separate. 3 needle bind off or Kitchener. quite soft. So I kitchen out the shoulders, and then you pick up the sleeves, and they're kind of drop shoulder sleeves, and you knit the two sleeves. Both of my sleeves are different. I don't know what I did. I knit them both. That was where I was stuck, and I knit both the sleeves last January to finish the sweater to wear it in the cold. And I'm super happy I have the sweater because it has been cold in Berlin, and this is a great layer, like working in a shop where we keep the door open or we air regularly. So it is knit with the Quara. It's base Aran weight based by Shillisdare. They're an amazing Scottish yarn company, and I got this yarn for my 40th birthday. So it was a big treat, and I finished it for my 42nd birthday. So I was wearing this in February last year. Oh, I might be wrong. Actually, it might have been my 43rd birthday. Apologies. You know, it's just maths. It's just net numbers. But yeah, I'm super happy I finished the Soiree sweater. I had a bit of an accident with my you might be able to see on the maybe the camera will pick it up. I make this golden juice or yellow juice, and I sploshed some over me during Vlogmas. So I kind of stained this plus my jeans completely with this yellow thing, and I just hope sunlight, time, and a couple of washes will amend. Yeah, I have this little greeny red stain. And I wear the sweater always with my fly cup pin, a pin from, I will put the link to them in the description bar below. I love this pin. It's from Scotland. Yarn from Scotland, pin from Scotland, cats from Brandenburg, Mimi in Berlin. Then, in February, I finished 2 Laulu shawls. I have been really enjoying this cable textured mini shawl designed by Sari Nordlund. And I first finished this, which is the original yarn. So I held the Knitting for Olive merino with the Knitting for Olive mohair, and I used the pomegranate colorway, which I absolutely adore. I'm a bit of a color lover, so it's the color of the Knitting for Olive series. They have quite a lot of kind of shades of like subtle beige, and I'm like in here going for the reds. I love this one. So that was the first one finished, original yarn, just following the pattern. And then I made one using this amazing yarn. It's a hedgehog fiber tweedy, the first original tweedy quality they made, and my friend Nora of Kidscan gave me some of her Suri alpaca base, like a undyed, very soft. It was left over from something that she'd used, and so it was great because I really wanted to hold something fluffy with it. You might be able to tell, well, I just held them up. Obviously the original is a bit smaller, and holding the tweedy with the Zuri kind of bulked it all out. So it's slightly, it's not even that much bigger, but it's chunkier. It's kind of wider. The texture is a bit more dense. I do not think I've blocked this one yet. I do wear it though, and I really love the neon speckles of the tweedy, and I really like this red. So they're kind of staples. Amazingly addictive pattern because it's cables and lace and it's complex and you need to follow a chart, and to be honest, just the right amount of brain jogging for me. I like when my brain is in demand whilst I knit, because that way I truly switch off of all the other thoughts. I like it complicated, and I like knitting things again once I'm in a groove. So I don't know, let that tell you something about me. And after that, I knitted a third, which I used a really, really deep dark green 100% cashmere for that, and that one was gifted. It was a make I gave to my mother-in-law in the summer. So or for her birthday, I think. Yeah, I gave her it for her birthday. So I finished it early in the year and then kind of kept it until we saw each other again in person. And now comes a big bulk of, yes, you guessed it right, linen knits. So lino muka knit along is the one thing that holds me accountable and keeps me busy throughout summer, and I truly do knit some stuff there. Actually seeing this, I'm quite impressed. Like, I finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items, and this is a stand-in. So, isn't that crazy? Let me share some tricks why I have knit so many summer knits. So, this is a stand-in parachute because the parachute I knitted this summer, which was smaller than this one, has been gifted as well. So I used I had a two-tone front. It was like the light green color on one side and the Japanese sunset was the other half. So color blocked, multicolored back, enjoyed it, made it toddler size, so it's very pint sized, and I shrunk it using Julia, who is me and Simone's hack to this Stephen West pattern parachute, and I used lino muka held double, and I really, really enjoyed it. So that would, sorry, the camera cut out. That would have been the 5th item. Otherwise, this year I started off by making the Sun Gazer sweater, pattern by James N. Watts. Beautiful pattern. I absolutely love their patterns. So cool. So this is what I call front, and this is the back. So it's like a 2-color version, 2 color codes version. One with Charlie's back. Charlie, you're not meant to be on the table. This is like the moon side, and this is the sun side of my beloved Sun Gazer sweater. It's actually hands down, I think, my favorite make. You're my favorite thing of 2022, but these are my makes. Can you please stop it? Yeah, Sun Gazer sweater. I held 3 strands of lino muka, and I created these Noro-like fades. The pattern by James N. Watts uses a Noro, so you usually would have these kind of color changes, subtle moods. So I created that by interchanging one of the 3 threads and just kind of playing. I have these areas that have like very randomly like a purple bit with this orange, and it was so much fun to make. And due to having this make along or hosting it, I actually kind of stick with it, and I follow it quite a lot throughout my podcast. So I think that was podcast episode 57, 58, and I think even podcast episode 56 was all lino muka make, so you can follow the progress with this one. Loved it. In that time, James had asked for people to sign up for a test knit for the rib lace raglan, and I did sign up for the test knit, and I held lino muka with 2 strands. I made an XL, which turned out to be like a perfect, I'm usually in size L, and this is like perfect fit, because I think 2 strands of lino muka are much thinner than the cotton they use originally in the pattern. I think it's a Pearl Soho, but don't know. I forgot god, I didn't research this before starting. I just came home. You saw me came home, grabbed a glass of water, and then recorded. So hence the cats are a bit confused. Yeah, so joined the test knit and knitted this, and I love it. I wear it with like these like overalls. I wear it under dresses. I wear it over skirts. It's very cropped and nice. Originally I thought I would make longer sleeves, and it was the plan for a family occasion to have it also with long sleeve as like a layer over the top, but because it was a summer party and my dress ended up being like long sleeved, silky, the silky number with long sleeves, but very kind of stoop wide kind of neckline. I was like, oh, I'll wear the t-shirt underneath. Perfect. I don't need to add sleeves, because during the test knit I'd only just managed to finish this like cropped, no sleeves. So absolutely enjoyed it. Super cool construction, and as it's like lace, this kind of striped lace texture, you knit a lot of air, a lot of holes. It's a fast knit. I super enjoyed knitting it, and I really like the color. I think it's called grass green. I will correct myself in the box below. Next up, I made the flatter butt shorts by Jessie May. Jessie May, my word, if anything makes you feel like you own yours, like your body, your creativity, your kind of stance, I think this garment really did this for me. It's lino muka held with 3 strands again, just like with the sun gazer, and I used the beetroot colorway, which is one of my favorites. It's the super dark, deep, sorry, bit crummy. It's the super dark deep red, and then you make these kind of frilly extra bits with like extreme increasing. And yeah, one thing I need to mend is that, like, because lino muka is different than the yarn used in the original pattern, and I knit quite a big size because I wanted this kind of oversized shorts. They're a bit big, they're a bit skirt-like for me, and the crotch line is way too much fabric, especially because you have this increase for the frill, for the kind of ruffle. It kind of turned out like too much fabric, so I do realize, because I was wearing these with like sandals and a t-shirt, like, and on the summer vacation, so I was like literally wearing them all the time. I realized it was a bit like hard to wear because you've got this kind of weird extra fabric between the legs that doesn't need to be there. So I have to unknit both the ruffles and basically pick up much less stitches for this in between leg bit. I think I can, even though I knit this, I think a size 4, I can use like the amount of stitches for the XS for the smallest size, and it will still probably drape a bit because linen has a bit of a more, this kind of silky drape. Oh god, it's amazing. I love it. I love it. So I loved it so much, I cast on for the flutter butt tee after that. And this is like the last thing I finished in lino muka knit along, and I think just about towards the end. It's so cool. It's I used the Dusty Rose colorway of lino muka, again held triple because, you know, it's perfect. I omitted the ruffles at the bottom. I wanted this boxy t-shirt with ruffled sleeves, and I did wear it and did love wearing it, but I can't wait for summer and a reason to wear more of this. It was like my travel knit throughout August when I was sitting and knitting next to some really dear friends. I think podcast episode 57, I in like a holiday place, and I'm sharing this, and I'm super happily knitting on this, and the scenery and the life and the kind of the London stitches that are in this just like make it special. I'm super excited. So I knitted 3 tops for myself, 2 with lino muka held with 3 strands and 1 held double. Lino muka is the 100% linen yarn. It's very thin. We have 245 meters to 50 grams, so it's a lace weight, and it's beautiful. And we kind of hold it double for kind of like a normal t-shirt, and holding it triple makes it go this kind of silky and dense. But all ways of using lino muka are amazing, because in summer you have this 100% linen, which is cooling. It has the effect of cooling you down when you wear it. It's not even like silk or cotton that are kind of neutral. I feel like linen has like a tendency to, especially if it's knit this airily, to keep you fresh. And I love wearing it. It's hard on the hands because it is dry and there's no give. It's not like wool where it kind of bounces back and your stitches just foam and you're like, yeah, it bounces forwards and backwards. It can be tedious to knit with, but the result is so worth it. And this year, even though I was extremely productive, so 3 tops, pair of shorts for me, plus a kid's top that's been gifted, I didn't have any issues. Like 2 years ago, I had a bad arm from excessive knitting arm. I had an excessive knitting arm, so I had to heal that, and it was a bit of a process which pulled into like the year after. So 2020, 2021 were not as smooth for me, but this year I had no issues. I can report it was completely and utterly problem-free. My arm has recovered, and it takes a lot of patience to recover from such a injury, like a overuse tendonitis. It has a funny name. You all probably know this, or if not, we'll make that a topic another time. Right now I'm just like going, look at this, my pile of linens, and I'm preparing lino muka knit along 2023. I'm very excited. I've picked a pattern, I'm swatching for it, and all of this is very early. We'll start 1st of April, so a lot of time still to get there. And because I've got my timer running, I'm going to continue here, but watch this space for lino muka knit along and my ideas and my swatches and so on. And now there is the item on the list. It's the otso. It's a teddy bear that I knitted twice this summer. Once as a gift, and I have this cool photo of it next to my friend's otso from my knit group. In July we had a really cool event, like a big knit night as part of the Wedding Wool weekend, and both our otsos came along to the party, and it was so nice. So I took this picture, and you know, here it is. I made this big one, the darker one. The lighter one's my friend Leah's, the kind of the one with the eyelashes. That's the one I made. And I made a second one, which I will film at the end of this episode. When I'm at work tomorrow, Tuesday, I can film it. And then I'll edit this ready for you to watch on the weekend. And yeah, Otso is a pattern by Sophie Scott, who is one of the people from Pom Pom Mag. And they used to work for, well, she used to work for Loops London, so it's a free pattern on the Loops London blog. I'm very excited because I have been sponsored. Look, I'll just quickly show you. I've been sponsored by Pom Pom Mag, and I got their mini pom for the podcast, and I'm actually currently knitting Truffle. Truffle is a cuddly pig plush that Sophie designed for the mini pom, and I'm currently knitting that. I'm very excited to show you that. But that is kind of like the little sibling to Otso. So yeah, in the next podcast I will be able to show you. I'm like really working on this truffle. It was like my New Year's Day cast on, and Took me a while. Oh no, I think it's a Boxing Day cast on, but I've been knitting it since then, and I'm kind of picking up steam at the moment. And there's two more things. So as part of the set of the parachute, the otso, that I made for Magic 3 Mile, that is the craft along where we make 3 items for small people in our lives, or small people or friends. In this case, I made it for my friend who lives in London. I also made these tiny checkered bloomers that I gifted. So the mini parachute, the bloomers, and the otso all became a set, and I kind of, you know, handed it over when in London. So those I can only share a picture of this set, but these would have been the 3 items I cannot show, but they're all presents. As well as mohair lace wedding shawl. I did it. I did fulfill a bride's wish. Like, this was like one of my more time consuming and complex knits of the summer. So in May I sent some swatches and they got to choose, I think, or around April or May, and then they got to hold the swatches in these different yarns in the pattern up to the dress in question. And it ended up being mohair, although I was like, really, like, I can knit it from linen, I can knit it from like a cashmere merino, which will all be a bit more airy, or this, what about this cotton merino blend? But it's like, no, mohair. And you know, the wedding was in August and it was way too hot to wear a mohair shawl, but I had finished it. I had hand delivered it, and I was super proud that I made this lace shawl. There is a picture I can share here, but none of that is really telling. But I was happy. I had these swatches. I can show you those swatches, and it was a process, and it was a gift from the heart, you know, to my sister-in-law. And yeah, that was a beautiful occasion. So those were this. So this is kind of that was the interlude of all the gifted items that I spent time making. And on my holiday, also in that episode 57 of the podcast, you will see how I made this, I think in 2 days. This was like my treat to me on holiday. It's an Imogen Denton from Blackthorne bag from their Blackthorne collection. I really enjoyed making this. Imogen shares designs, but she also does like, you know, commissions. Like, you can ask Imogen to knit you something. So yeah, and I knitted this for myself with yarns I was gifted on holiday. So I got this really cool assortment of plant-dyed yarns, and then I made one side with the yellow plant-dyed and some cotton I found in a charity shop on the beach near where we were staying, and the other side was with leftovers of the little crochet frog I made. Cotton and more plant-dyed with the reed gifted yarn from Lisa, which I really love. And then this was the third colour I was gifted, this kind of dark brown. I've got, I think, walnut husks. So yeah, I wore it quite a lot. It's perfect because it's just like a cross bag, and I can have like my phone in there or my wallet, and it's perfect. And it reminds me of the time spent away. Reminds me of a holiday. Reminds me of that fresh sea breeze where I actually filmed a finished object kind of clip. And yeah, it's nice to make something from leftovers and presents, and so extremely spontaneous. It was like a spontaneous craft for myself, for myself. And then there's like a big gap, autumn, winter. I think I made the crochet frog, which maybe I'll grab that if it is near. This is the emotional support frog that I made also in a day on our holiday for someone who requested it. My youngest wanted a emotional support frog for the new school year, and I used this Ika or Cosma yarn by La Mana that we have in our shop, and the leftovers I knitted into this with the plant dyed yarns. And yeah, so that was like a nice little crochet project. And then yeah, there's a big gap where I think when I came back from holiday I just picked up this massive project, as well as like a project that I recently finished, so it's this year's cast off, and that I will be talking about a lot in the upcoming podcast episode 59. Yeah, oh my god, soon we'll have 60 podcasts. I can't believe it. This is the habitation throw, which I cast on in 2021 for Stash Went from here. And then I just carried on working, and I carried on working, and I carried on working, and I carried on working until I finished it in the last week of November. Isn't this crazy? It's huge. Like, I will try again. I keep doing this. I keep like going, move the chair out of the way, standing back here and going, it's just ridiculous. It's like it's so big, and I used stash yarns, I used Stash Went calendar yarns that I was generously gifted by Frauke in the year 2021. And then after I finished this, it was Stash Went 2022, so that was like literally the last cast off. So I don't even know if I put this here. Oh, that looks good. This knit pile. Knit and crochet, top by crochet frog. Stash Went 2022 happened, and this is what I made and finished in December. This is the Fest Vest by Amber Breen, and I love it. I cast on the 1st of December with the red, like this twist rib, and then knit the next stripe on the 2nd of December, and then I was like totally could not buy the Keatsgan Christmas colorway that we had at Vollen, and I just added some leftover mohair to that because it was like a sock yarn and thinner, and this was like a fingering weight yarn that I held double, and this is like a Shetland merino blend which I also held with the mohair, so I kind of made it all DK-ish by holding yarns double, and then yeah, every day a stripe. And luckily on day 18, because I was like, I won't have enough dark red to do all the ribbing, and luckily on day 17 or 18, Francie, who I got this year's Stash Went calendar from, had added that dark burgundy red again. I was like, yes, I will be able to finish this. And I added the buttons, I think, on New Year's Eve. Like, yeah, and then I wore this New Year's Eve, which we just spent here on the sofa. But I'm so chuffed with it, and Stash Went is like amazing. I was extremely inspired by Janine to knit this Fest Vest, who had knitted it in the previous year, and I think 2 or 3 other people made Fest Vests from their Stash Went, which is amazing. Stash Went is like a swap in our community. If you have not heard in my previous podcasts, or are kind of just visiting me here for the first time today, it's a community swap where we make... Oh, that's my timer. I'll stop that. Okay, sorry, I had to stop my timer. Yeah, so Stash Event is a community swap where people make countdown calendars for special December occasions for each other, or like for different people. So you send to someone and they send the Stash Event calendar to someone else, and they're personalized for that celebration, maybe for a color scheme or preferences in yarns or inspired ideas people had to make. And that's just so lovely because it's like using something we already have and making it shine in this calendar. I don't think Francie would have guessed that this would happen with her stash yarns and end bits, and I think, you know, that's like a nice surprise by the end, like someone else's leftovers become this amazing something. And I wear this, I will wear it today actually. I wear this and it just makes me proud to know people who care for using what we already have as much as I do, as well as it makes me happy to knit with something that might, you know, be called scraps or leftovers, or, you know, might otherwise be discarded or just loiter in someone's stash for a long time. And yes, I did buy yarns like the Keatsgan one Xmas edition, but I still have enough to make a pair of socks with that, and I love it. It's a beautiful yarn, and I just kind of added it in as a little kind of Christmassy treat. And I look at it here now on the camera and I just think the colors, I mean, Francie, look at this. I mean, Francie made an amazing choice for me, and yeah, it works. So that was that. The last item, let's put it under the frog, that I finished in 2022. I'm super proud. Like, that is lots of linen knits, a sweater, a vest, a bag, a frog, a bear, all the gifts that have gone, that have left my house. And yeah, I'm sure it's not as extensive as others' knit piles, but it's my knit pile and it makes me proud. And a lot of stash was used, and a lot of gifts, like gifted yarns, were made. And it just, you know, final thing I need to show you on that note is I was given a ranunculus sweater as a gift for my birthday last year by Josh. Josh Moll is a breiwerken. She designs, she knits, and she crafts beautiful things. And I still can't believe that I got to choose what pattern I wanted. And this is Plutolopi, like one of my like utmost favorite Icelandic qualities. And yeah, it was made for me. I wear it over the top of my kind of wider hinterland style, like loose linen dresses, and it just gives me so much joy to have like a hand knit item gifted to me. Ridiculous. And in our swap I also got like a hand knit vest and a hand knit cardigan, so those were like coincidental add-ons into my garment selections, into my wardrobe, and they've become staples. And I love community for that. I love people who understand that sometimes you have to, like, you know, like when you make a knit piece and you're not 100% happy with it, to bring it to a swap table is a brilliant, it's just a brilliant thing to do. And it just happened because these people wanted to ask if anyone was interested. And I can't believe I ended up having a Ziri cardigan and a holiday slip over from just like hosting this swap of yarns. And that my friend Josh knitted this for me. What a beautiful thing to happen in 2022. I love you all so much, and I love this podcast and the community, and I thank you so much for joining me today. I will edit this ready for like a little Friday treat for you. I hope you're well. I send you much love. And I promise you podcast episode 59 is coming, I guess, early February, because it's the last weekend in January now, and there's no way I will also manage to record a podcast today. I thought I'll do it all, but I realized I also want to knit. I've got some things to finish, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna knit a bit and watch some podcasts, and maybe I'll edit this, but I'll definitely edit it for the weekend, and then I will record the podcast soon and I will share that soon. So please subscribe if you want to get that notification that I've uploaded a podcast. And it really helps if you just press on that heart, a little like, a little share, or tell your fellow knitters that I exist. It will make me smile to know that you that you might have recommended me. Thank you for watching today, and have a great day. See you later.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell